foundation of our republic. We want to educate, encourage, enable the power. We stand for integrity, honesty, self-reliance, self-defense, and most importantly, no compromise on our foundational principles. This is America's Voice Now.
Find America's Voice Now on Facebook and at AmericasVoiceNow.org. Here's Michael Evans.
Good morning, America. My name is Michael Evans. You're listening to America's Voice Now. This morning, the news is broken that we are under assault from the National Security Agency. We're going to talk about this hour, and I'll tell you why. This is proof positive that our government has gone to war against American citizens. And I'm going to say it again for the record. This is treason. Treason is defined as one who violates their oath, the act of treason. The oath that every one of these senators, congressmen, NSA representatives, members of all of these administrations, and this is not limited to the Obama administration. This started back in the Bush administration. You've heard me say it before. He was treasonous, and he was a traitor to America. The actions on the parts of all of these administrations and their cohorts is unconscionable, unforgivable, and it is time for America to put a stop to this kind of activity. It is time for America to take our nation back. It is time for America to rise up and revolt peacefully, civilly, but with all intent to turn this ship around. Ladies and gentlemen, we can no longer idly sit by and allow this to continue. The story broke originally, believe it or not, in the UK. They obtained a copy of a highly classified court order that the National Security Agency has gone to the FISA court, that is FISA court. That's the court that authorizes wiretaps for terrorism. And they have put this order out there that is violative in a number of different ways. The order was signed by a Judge Roger Vinson, and it directs Verizon Communications and their business network services to turn over on an ongoing daily basis, quote unquote, to the NSA all call logs, quote, between the United States and abroad, or, here's the kicker, wholly within the United States, including local telephone calls. Now, you've all heard me say before that they're monitoring your telephone calls, your emails, your communications of all sizes, shapes, and forms, text messages, faxes, everything. This is the first time that the unmitigated proof is here that they're doing this domestically, wholly within the United States, including local telephone calls. That means that they're recording the call that you made to your grandmother. They're recording the call you make to your brother, your sister, your friend down the street, that person that you cut a business deal with. All of it's being recorded. Now, the order runs for a period of 90 days. However, they automatically roll the order over every 90 days. So it's an endless order. And in addition to that, to make it worse, they've instructed and put a gag order on Verizon that they may not notify or inform you under penalty of law that they're doing so. People, I mean, you gotta wonder what it's going to take for America to say, we're going to Washington and we're not leaving until we throw every one of these scumbags out of office. On Thursday, the Obama administration acknowledges that it's collecting this massive telephone record list from at least one carrier. They don't talk about the others, and this paper in England only got a copy of the one order. But it's enough to know that if they're doing it with Verizon, you can bet your bottom dollar they're doing it with AT&T, they're doing it with all the other telephone carriers, regardless of who they are. And in addition to that, since they're doing it with all of your mobile carriers, you know they're doing it with all your telephony carriers on your wire side, your wireline or telephone, wired telephone services side. Now, the Guardian, the UK Guardian, is the one who broke the story. How they obtained this secret court order, I don't know, but I'm glad they did. And I, for one, I'm incensed that American press was not able to get a hold of this, that it took a UK paper to break a story like this. You see, what that tells us is that the media, the fourth estate, has completely abrogated their responsibility to act as the watchdog of government. They're in compliance and they're complicit. Now, of course, they're all spouting it now. The New York Times has got an article on it. The AP's got an article on it. Everybody's got the article out. CBS, NBC, ABC, MSLSD will probably go out there and support it. Forbes has got an article on it. Well, where the hell were these people for the last 10 years? Where the hell were these people since 2001, when the treasonous, traitorous Patriot Act was signed by Bush, the traitor, who came from the previous Bush, the traitor, the Mr. New World Order traitor. And the Clintons in between, traitors extraordinaire as well. Let me tell you something, folks. This is a long line of traitors. Every president who has been a sitting president, I'm not even going to discount Reagan in this. They've all betrayed us. This has been going on for over 100 years. This has been going on for as long as anyone in the world today has currently been alive. And it's time we acknowledge it. It's time we wash this laundry in the sunshine of public visibility. It is time that this kind of activity is ceased. And I'm going to tell you, the only way to end this activity is for America to rise up, starve this beast, seize it up like a motor with no oil. Lock down commerce, stop paying all your taxes, march on Washington as a massive, peaceful, civil, disobedient population and say, we will no longer tolerate this. You are terminated. Your time is up. You are out. We are putting back in place new representatives who have no government experience, who have never run for office before, have never been a part of this administration or any prior administration, and we're starting over as a constitutional republic again. Oh my goodness, you can't do that. All those people going into office won't have any experience. They won't know how it's done. Yes, you're exactly right. They won't know how it's done because how it's been done is what's led us to this point today. How it's been done is backroom deals, corruption, smoke-filled rooms, bribery, lobbying, skullduggery, scheming, collaborating, conniving. That's how it's been done. For the last 100 years, we have watched our nation descend to the edge and the brink of oblivion and tyranny. And this is why. Because of the way it's done. I don't want to hear any more about how politicians think that someone new can't meet the grade. I want politicians in place who know exactly how to follow the Constitution to the letter. Not try to work around it. We need a massive repeal of all federal agencies, all of them, eliminated. Then we can start from a constitutional basis. Can we start with a new EPA that actually has its focus on not subjugating and beating the snot out of Americans until they're grease spots on the ground, but actually holding corporations accountable for waste and abuse of our environment? That's okay. But this idea of using them as a weapon against America is unacceptable.
Whether it's a serious fall, fire danger, or other type of home emergency, Life Alert is there for you. The company with its slogan, "Help, I've fallen and I can't get up," protects its members. Here are some of them.
When you have a heart attack like I did and there's no one there, Life Alert was there for me.
Having a secure feeling through Life Alert is ideal.
My independence is possible because of it.
Now, Life Alert can also protect you in a fire emergency with a system that automatically notifies our monitoring center.
Thanks to Life Alert, you can live alone without ever being alone.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-815-9441. That's 1-800-815-9441. Call now, 1-800-815-9441. For a free brochure, call 1-800-815-9441. 1-800-815...
Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come for us to make or break. No longer can we sit and wonder who will do something. The who is you. Who is going to stop the tyranny? Who is going to stop the treasonous actions of our state and our federal governments? You are. There is no one else. You do not beg the slave master to cease beating the slave. Not when you're the slave. You do not beg them to spare you their tyranny. That's what slave masters do. They will not give up power willingly. They will not give up power without it being taken from them. Today, Wake Up Wednesday, all this ends. I've put together a plan. It's not foolproof. There is no such thing as a foolproof plan. It's called 90 Days That Will Change the World. Go to any browser and type in 90 Days That Will Change the World. You'll find YouTube videos about it. You'll find the story on AmericasVoiceNow.org. You'll find Facebook posts on it. Please go and do it. Then print it out and take it around and hand it out to other people around you. Either we are going to take this nation back, or we're going to have to at some point resort to defending ourselves with the Second Amendment. And I'm here to tell you, that should never be our goal. Ever. The wound that will leave, the millions who will die, will be unparalleled in history, and it will be a wound that this nation will never overcome. The Second Amendment was put in place by our founders to, as a last resort, defend ourselves against tyranny. I get it. But you got to remember the key operative phrase, as a last resort. We're not down to a last resort. We have an opportunity to do this peacefully, civilly, through disobedience. You know why? Because a law passed by a tyrant is no law at all. That's not me saying that. That's our founders who said that. A law that's passed that is extra constitutional is no law at all. It's as if it is null and void on its face. Today, you, me, and everyone around us must commit to bring all state and federal governments, agencies, and branches to a screeching and blood-curdling halt. No more fear. No more hiding. No more skulking about in the shadows, afraid that you'll be put onto a list, named, pointed out, insulted, ridiculed. He's wearing a tinfoil hat. Look at him go. Really? Then why is our government monitoring your telephone calls? All of you who have been sitting around thinking that someone else's opinion of you matters and someone else's opinion of your political ideologies and beliefs, that matters, you're a fool. You've missed out on the number one opportunity that you could have had in your entire life to be part and parcel of the number one thing that you and I can do collectively to make a difference in our nation. You're a Johnny-come-lately. You know why? Because you were afraid of public opinion. You were afraid of your neighbor. Who cares what your neighbor thinks? Who cares what someone you don't even know says about you? Why would you care? In the beginning of a change, the patriot is a scarce man. Brave, hated, and scorned. When his cause succeeds, the timid join him, for then it costs nothing to be a patriot. Mark Twain. Did you hear me? In the beginning of a change, the patriot is a scarce man, brave, hated, and scorned. When his cause succeeds, the timid will join him, for then it costs nothing to be a patriot. I've got to tell you, I've got to ask you, where do you stand? The New York Times. The U.S. is secretly collecting records of Verizon calls. They've known it for years. The Associated Press. Report. Government scooping up Verizon phone records. They've known it for at least 10 years. Reuters. Obama administration defends Verizon phone record collection. So instead of pointing out the ills, you're going to point out the alternative, that they actually defend this? Really? Forbes. NSA's Verizon spying order specifically targeted Americans, not foreigners. CBS. Department of Homeland Security. Laptops, phones can be searched based on a hunch. CNN. Communist News Network. Report. Secret court order forces Verizon to turn over telephone records of millions. I got to ask the obvious question. Where were these people in the United States, these journalists, trained in investigative journalism, trained to find out exactly this kind of information? Why did we have to have it broken by a UK paper? A UK paper. The Guardian, UK. United Kingdom, England. England is telling us our own government is betraying us. And our media has sat silently, knowing, willfully keeping the secret. Is that beyond comprehension to you? Is that beyond acceptable to you? Either you are with us or you are against us. You can't use such broad claims. Oh, I can. This is war. War. It's a soft war. There's no bullets flying. But make no mistake about it, and mark my words, we are at war. It's already been declared. Quietly, silently, by this and many, many, many past administrations. And the press, the media, the Ministry of Propaganda, they have been complicit, compliant, and silent to your detriment. So, either you are with us and part of the solution, or you are against us and part of the problem. Us is you. Us is me. Us is all of these people that are just trying to make a living, raise their kids, feed their families, enjoy a little bit of their life. Them is the millions upon tens of millions of government-sanctioned traitors. Those in Congress, all their aides, all their staffs, all the administrative agencies, every employee of state and federal government. Every single one without fail. Every one. We don't have the luxury of trying to decide who falls into the gray anymore. There is gray. I get it. Lots of individuals in federal agencies will stand up and say, I don't believe in what they're doing. Okay, I believe you. Resign. Get out. Stand with us. March with us. Demand an end to the tyranny and the treason that is going on by your agency, your office. Become a whistleblower. Spill the beans. Tell us what you know. Add to the weight of evidence so that we, the prosecutors, can properly show the jury of American people this is the behavior of a traitor. And I've got the proof. Where are you? Are you so corrupted that you're unwilling to stand up and do that which you know to be right? This time of vacillation and hand-wringing, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. I know it's terrible. They're betraying us at every step. Hey honey, what's on Channel 7? Did you forget to pick up Mikey over at the school game? Oh my goodness, we're out of ice cream. That time, ladies and gentlemen, is done. We as a nation, we as a people, as businesses, small and large, as parents, we as neighbors and friends, today we must take action. We must starve this beast into submission. We must peacefully, civilly, disobediently deny our master what it needs to continue its slavery. Will you continue to sit there and mold bullets for your slave master, knowing he's going to use those to kill you and your fellow slaves? Will you continue to enrich your slave master's coffers, knowing that he's using that money to enslave you to buy greater fences, greater monitoring equipment, to enslave you and your children? Really? What kind of an American are you? Is this the home of the brave and the land of the free? Or is this a land of mice, scurrying cockroaches? Where do you fall?
Fox News Radio. I'm Chris Foster. Who's calling who, from where, and for how long? The federal government wants to know.
The National Security Agency has been collecting daily telephone logs of millions of Verizon customers, all part of a top-secret court order. Britain's Guardian newspaper with a report detailing the order from the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. The phone record collection was granted on April 25th and is good until July 19th. The White House is calling it a critical tool to protect the nation from terror threats.
Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern. Parole denied 20 times now for the youngest Charles Manson follower, Leslie Van Houten, convicted of murder in 1969. At the CMT Music Awards in Nashville.
Carrie Underwood's Blown Away video landed the country star her 4th Video of the Year award.
You're amazing. I don't deserve this. Thank you.
Miranda Lambert and Florida Georgia Line each won 2.
Fox News Radio's Sabrina Sabah. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Thanks to our friends over at Ozark Mountain Self-Reliance. You can reach Brian down there at 870-492-4030. It's located a half mile east of Walmart on 3225 Route 62, Mountain Home. My dear friend Mary over at Chantilly's Artisan Bakery, the best damn bakery in 100 miles. She's located at number 2 Evans Arcade, and you can call her at 255-2253. My friends over at Pizza Hut on Porter Wagoner Boulevard. They have an outstanding lunch opportunity. You can, from 11 till 2, and you can have salad and pizza, something tasty and something good for you. Our friends Bill Stone over at Stone Construction at 293-0116. If you're considering doing any kind of remodeling, new or custom construction and or light commercial, give Bill a call and let him bid on your next project. Our friends at the Battery Station at 303 Washington Avenue, 417-257-7799. They can be found at thebatterystation.com. Our friends over at West Plains Pawn and Gun, an outstanding opportunity with 400 firearms under glass. You can reach them at 417-256-3000, and they are located at westplainspawn.com. Located physically at Highway 160, about a mile past Walmart on the right-hand side. And finally, the sponsor of our phone lines, Wits End Classic Barbershop, located on the square in West Plains. Best haircut you can get for $10, and a nice young man as well. Please visit and support our sponsors.
Coast to Coast AM brings the Ozarks a whole new feel for radio. Midnight to 6 a.m. every night here on the Ozarks Best News Talk 107.1 The Point. Where else would you get callers talking about everything from UFOs to war trends, from mental energy to anomalies, and from lost knowledge to aliens? Listen to experts and researchers who are part of the guest list every night here on the Ozarks Best News Talk. Don't miss Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Midnight to 6 a.m. every night here on the Ozarks Best News Talk 107.1 The Point.
Weather sponsorships are now available on News Talk 107.1 The Point. Get more information, email info@diamondmediaradio.com for complete details.
From the Point Weather Center for this morning, a stray shower. Otherwise, it's partly sunny today with a high temperature of 76 degrees. Partly cloudy tonight, low 56. Sunny tomorrow and Saturday, high each day 76. It'll be partly sunny with a thunderstorm Sunday. I'm staff meteorologist Jim Rinaldi, and for more information, visit my1071thepoint.com.
If you're looking for great deals on iPads or Kindles, look no further than your neighborhood Radio Shack authorized sales center. They've got great deals on the latest iPads and Kindles. Maybe you need a new GPS or an MP3 player to get your music library ready for those barbecues. Whatever your electronic needs, stop by your local neighborhood Radio Shack authorized dealer in West Plains at 1408 Southern Hills Shopping Center or call 417-256-1819.
What does this mean? What is 90 days that will change the world? Well, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to pretend it's going to be easy. I'm not going to pretend it's going to be comfortable. You should prepare yourself for trouble. If you are not prepared for trouble by now, you must be a first-time listener to this show. You better prepare yourself for discomfort, for hunger. You better prepare yourself to be cold. You better prepare yourself to be afraid. But most important, more than anything else, you need to be prepared for success. You need to be prepared to successfully take our nation back to its foundational principles as a constitutional republic, a rule of law, a foundational basis by which all people are treated equally, not given equal benefits, not given equal food and health care and housing, not allowed to sit home and be lazy while living on the government dole, but to be prepared for the success that says our nation is moral, ethical, honest, that we have integrity as a nation, that we have the courage to do the hard tasks, that we have the courage to take on the hard and painful task of bringing order from chaos and treason and tyranny. That's what this is about. If all you're here for is whether or not you can get another electronic toy, if that's what floats your boat, if that's what arouses you, if all you're interested in is what kind of an education can I get so I can go out there and be another cow in the field to be milked as a producer, if all you're interested in is how can I glom wealth for myself, if all you're interested in is what protection do I have personally so that I don't have to put anything on the line, then you're one of them. And you're not one of us. Our nation today has come to the end of a very long, very painful road. But I've got to tell you something. It's going to get worse before it gets better. This is going to get ugly, one way or the other. It's going to get ugly if we take action. It's going to get even uglier if we don't. It's going to be painful if we take action. It's going to be unimaginably painful if we don't. It's going to be fearful for you and your wife and your husband and your children if we take action. It's going to be terrifying for you if we don't. There's going to be trouble. There's going to be some scrapping if we take action. They're not going to give this up easy. But what do you think it's going to be like when they tell you to go one direction, your wife to go another, and your children to go a third, and you know that you'll never see them again. Will you stand and fight then? Will you be mowed down by fellow Americans in a hail of bullets because you didn't have the cojones, the brass to stand when you had a chance? It's not that bad. It's never going to get to that. Okay. Live in your utopian fantasy. I say, still, if you will not fight for the right when you can easily win without bloodshed, if you will not fight when your victory will be sure and not too costly, you may come to the moment when you will have to fight with all the odds against you and only a precarious chance of survival. There may even be a worse case. You may have to fight when there is no hope of victory, because it is better to perish than live as a slave. That's not Michael. That's Winston. Churchill, to be precise. You've been enslaved, emasculated, castrated. You're being monitored. You're cowering in fear. You've become subservient. All to an elite new world order that declares you to be food, a subject, and nothing more than livestock. You are used and abused. You are raped financially, emotionally, constitutionally, every single day by your master. The face of that master does not matter. Doesn't matter whether it's somebody in Congress or somebody over in the EPA or somebody in the FDA or the USDA or somebody in the White House, somebody up in Jefferson City. You see, tyrants' ego and desire for power, they are fed by your demise. Why would you allow yourself, why would you allow your children to be moved into that world? I ask you, are you not an American? Are you not a man of pride and courage? Are you not a man or a woman of belief and conviction? Do you not know right from wrong? Why and how can you stand idly by? How dare you? How dare you? This, the greatest nation in all known history, the most brilliant minds, those of courage and conviction and integrity and honor who have come before us in the millions and died so that we may have liberty, so that we may have freedom. And we betray it all for a bowl of rice, a bowl of Esau's soup. We are selling our future as Judases for 30 measly pieces of silver. God forgive you, and God forgive us as a nation.
The Battery Station in West Plains is your headquarters for getting and being prepared. Natural disasters, civil unrest, personal and family protection, long-term sustenance, and most importantly, peace of mind. Berkey bottles and home-sized water purification systems, survival food, MREs, freeze-dried food, survival knives, lanterns, ammunition, military sleep systems, and of course, batteries of all shapes and sizes. Take charge of your own survival and security. The Battery Station, 303 Washington in West Plains, 417-257-7799 or batterystation.com.
The Government Accountability Institute has conducted an analysis of how much time this president has spent in economic meetings of any kind. For instance, how much time has he spent golfing compared to economic meetings?
Between golf and vacation, he's up 976 hours.
That's only more than double the time of what he spent on the economy.
But he won't rest.
Until people have jobs and this economy is rolling again.
This is the Glenn Beck Program.
Weekdays from 2 to 5, it's Glenn Beck on the Ozarks' best news talk, 107.1.
Hi, it's Hugh Hewitt on the next Hugh Hewitt Show. I am back from Boston. I bring you word of what happens to liberals 35 years after they graduate from the Kremlin on the Charles. I caught up with all those people who spent all their time trying to run your lives better than you know you can run it yourself. I'll give you the debrief on the next Hugh Hewitt Show.
Sundays from 6 till 7, following Money Talk with Bob Brinker, it's the Weekend Journal with Hugh Hewitt on the Ozarks' best news talk, 107.1.
Attention runners, register now for the Fit for All Ages 5K and 10K race this Saturday at Burton Creek Pharmacy. All runners receive a goodie bag and t-shirt. A stretching class will be held at 6:30 a.m. and the race starts at 7. Free massages by Constructive Massage Therapy before and after the race. All proceeds benefit the Boys and Girls Club of the Greater West Plains area. Following the race will be a health fair with fitness demonstrations until 2 p.m. Sponsored by Burton Creek, Flow Fitness, Hospice Composites, Missouri Home Care, and Physical Therapy Specialists. For more information or to register, call Sonia at 256-2111.
America, where have you gone? Where is your courage? Where is your fight? Where is your wisdom? Where is your integrity? Where is your honor? Where is your thankfulness? Where is your faith? Where is your heart? We are amassed on the cliffs of tyranny. This nation that you grew up in, that you benefited from, that you have taken sustenance from, that you have been born into. You who have won the lottery. You could have been born anywhere in the world. You could have been one of those babies starving in the Sudan with a belly distended like a basketball. But you who grew up here, with the benefit of knowledge and wisdom and education, a history glorious and strong and proud. Ancestors who were willing to take on the fight to continue what you have benefited from. And this generation will be remembered for all known history as the generation emasculated, castrated, men of no courage, men who allowed themselves to be enslaved for their own personal appetite for money and safety and security, who sold their birthright for a full belly, who cowered in fear and scattered like roaches before a master who they knew meant them harm. Our time will generate songs. Our time will be spoken of. You, I, we will be remembered. Not with pride, not as moral foundational pillars to be admired, to be looked up to. Will be remembered as the chickens who scampered away. Will be remembered as the nation that allowed the final pillar of freedom and liberty, the only one that had ever been built to hold up the roof of the planet, the roof of the world. We will be remembered as those who capitulated, ran, cowered in fear. 1,000 years from now, they'll speak of you with poison on their tongue and spit from their lips. No one will remember this generation with reverence. No one will remember this generation and look up to them with eyes of pride. Instead, they'll look upon us with hatred. If we're even remembered. Because when these tyrants finish with these history books that they'll read 1,000 years from now, the last 235 years will never even have happened. It will be lost to history, to never again give courage to the slave, to never again provide an inkling of an idea of liberty and freedom, to never again encourage the individual to strive for freedom. It's a human thing, but they'll beat it out of you They don't even have to do that. They bought you. They bought you with an EBT card and a $70,000 pickup truck and a McMansion. They've bought you. Now they'll sell you into slavery. I've written and given the plan. It's not foolproof. No such thing exists. I've given you the kernel. I've given you the seed. I've given you the water and the good earth. Will you plant it? Will you nurture it? Will you grow it to fruition? Will you weed around it and care for it and help it to seed and flower and then plant again? It's not too radical. That's going to change everything. That's the point. What do you have now that's so vastly wonderful? What do you have to look forward to that's so great that you refuse to take a chance? What is so perfect about your life? What is so glorious in your future? What is so glowing in tomorrow? What? This tyranny will only grow. It will not stay static. You think this is as bad as it's going to get? Why? Why would you think that? Why would you think they're gathering all this information, if not to use it against you? Where's your critical thinking skills? Why will you not think beyond the end of your nose? And if the promise that you have from them only leads to more fear, deprivation, slavery, starvation, hunger, fear, remorse, how dare you not have the courage to stand up to change that? Isn't that worse than whatever fear you can imagine from the unexpected? Human nature only changes when the price of remaining the same is more painful than the fear of the unknown. I submit. I want the unknown. You're listening to America's Voice Now. Find us on the web at AmericasVoiceNow.org or .com. Find us at Facebook.com/America's Voice Now. Find us and this show at YouTube.com/America's Voice Now. Spread it. Share it. Gird your loins with courage. Today, we begin.
We are the Ozarks' best news talk on KBMV Birch Tree.